Well, the layout that you're about to see is quite an ordeal. I'm going to recommend that you go a step behind me as you're watching, and because I do, at one point, I do put on a mat down the wrong way, and then there was a whole bunch of other things. There were instructions that weren't correct, cutting instructions. So I went off the grid a little bit on this and changed it up slightly, but I also did make a mistake and put a mat down too early. So pay attention to when I'm putting the mats down and look at your picture and make sure that you see that there might be background that goes down before the mat. That's actually on page 1, which I did after page 2 because I accidentally started page 2 first. So go a step behind me on these layouts, and it'll be worth it in the end. Well, you guys, there is so many mistakes in this these instructions that I can't believe it. So one of the things is that I use the zip strip, I believe, from layout 2 on layout 1 because there wasn't one cut for layout 1. So if you were confused by that, hopefully you either cut some new ones or went ahead and used the ones from layout 2. So then I recut layout 2s, and I'm going to put these in the instructions that you're going to need those 10.5 because that's, it actually, they have you cut the zip strips at 10.5, but then cut the glitter paper at 11.25. So that doesn't make sense when you go to make the page because this zip strip will fit the page this way, but the glitter strips fit the page the other way. Even though in the pictures the zip strip is right above, the zip strip is right below the glitter paper. So we're gonna just do it our own way. So if you haven't already done it, you're gonna need to cut 4 of the glitter papers, 1/8 of an inch by 10.5. Also, another thing she didn't put on there was this piece here. And I'm going to put this in the instructions too. I'll have to do them after I did the video for cutting. But this is about 2.25 by 1.25, and that's this paper here. Okay. So this is rough sometimes to do her stuff because of these reasons, but let's just go ahead. We're going to change the page orientation a little bit, but first let's do a little prep, and we're going to do some of those dots and your espresso ink and a sponge and your stencil. Okay, and this time the dots are going across the middle. So what I'm going to have you do on her page, she has it this way with a long way going horizontal, but we're going to change it because you don't have more zip strips to cut. And since the instructions are wrong on that size, let's just change the page orientation. So make the tall side vertical, and then let's do some espresso dots here. And these ones this time is going to go kind of towards the, be in the middle of the page. So I'm just going to go kind of across the page. I'm going to move it a little bit because we don't want it to all look straight up and down and stuff. So, okay, so kind of like that. And you might as well do page 2 also. And page 2 had them more on the right-hand side. So I'll just turn it this way this time and get some of those on there. Sorry about the shaking of the phone. Okay, like that. And then one more thing we want to do the dots on is this green cardstock piece that you've already cut dovetailed. Add a little more ink on it because that's a dark color. And we'll just make this work. Crazy Jennifer does not like to write instructions, I guess. So, all right, let's go back to this page and let's try to put this together. Up at the top is going to be this piece, the thinner of the pinks. This is going to probably be too long because it was cut for the other side. But since we don't have any more zip strips, so I'm just going to put that along the top, flush with the top, and then I'm going to cut the excess off. So those will look a little bit different than the instructions, but we're just going to go with it. And trim that excess off there. And then the next is the glitter. The glitter paper strip. And I'm going to do glue with that. And I know that she has somebody that checks them. So she sends all of it to a girl, and the girl writes instructions, I believe, but then also does it. And so it's been checked, but whoever checked it missed a whole bunch of stuff this time. I mean, she didn't even have glitter paper as in the supply list. You know, it wasn't even there. And then we've missed a whole banner piece here that's not in the cutting instructions. So yeah, this is one of the reasons I don't like to do cutting instructions myself, is because there's just so many ways to make mistakes. So let's take that zip strip, and that goes under the glitter paper. All right. So I don't know how many of you are tackling Jennifer's layouts here. Let me know. Very pretty though up there. Okay, and then down at the bottom, it looks like first down is the big thick pink, and it she doesn't exactly say how far up it is. So I'm gonna guess it looks like maybe about an inch, or maybe 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. Let me see. Let's go with 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And attach that. Now, normally this doesn't go all the way to the edge because if the page was lengthwise, so let's bring it in a bit. So I'm going to bring it in about 1.5 inches because we're going to be decorating all over that right-hand side, and we don't need this to show too much. So I'm going to just bring it in 1.5 inches, and then we'll trim off this. All right, so up 3/4 of an inch, and then in 1.5 inches from the side, the right hand side on this case. And then we got the zip strip that looks like this, and I put my scissors away. All right, and I guess you're not going to be able to see it on this side, so I'm not going to worry about doing the little trimming at an angle, because it's all going to be under embellishments. So I'm going to put this down here. Yep, it's pretty close to the bottom of the page, so I'm just going to match it up with the bottom of the pink. And then we'll trim the excess off of that too. On this side, other side will look a little different. But it doesn't go all the way across, because I can see that all those embellishments are over it. So put that down, trim off the excess. Like I said, we're gonna go our own way. And then you've got, what is that? Skinny, here we go, skinny green, and that needs to have a little angle cut. Oh, not even on this one, so we won't have to worry about it. So this is going to go just below, but overlapping slightly the blue piece, and I'm going to need to do glue on that, I think. So it's going to slightly overlap the blue and go all the way to the edge. I'm going to go overlap it about half, and that leaves about 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. Like that. that. Okay. Now, another thing about this page is that she is doing some kind of interactive element here, which means that you would probably have to cut your page protector to make it totally interactive. Let me see on here if it actually says cut your page protector. I don't think she does, because I think that she's making the mats pop up. So let me show you what I'm talking about, and then you can decide, because I'm not sure the purpose of this when we could just use flip flaps. So let me grab my, oh, my mats disappeared for a minute here. Here they are. Okay. So here's what she's got, kind of like this goes down and then this goes down and then this bends up. But why do that when you can just use a flip flap? So I'm not seeing anything here about a flip flap. It just says adhere together at the top to create a flap with a 4x4 photo. You know, so I'm not quite sure what was the purpose in that, because now you would have to cut your page protector to make this flap work. So I'm going to say I would recommend, and this is what I will do, I would recommend that you go ahead and put the 2 mats down, save this for a flip flap, trim that off, and make this the background for your flip flap on the top page instead. Otherwise, you're going to have to do all this cutting on your page protector to make this so this will come up like that. I just don't see any purpose. And I can contact her before I continue on with this video and just see what her idea was on this. So why don't I do that? And I'll be back momentarily. So I talked to Jennifer, and these do require you to cut your page protector. I recommend just using it in a flip flap instead. So I would recommend that you cut that there, use that as a mat in your flip flap, or just put in 2 4x4 photos in a flip flap, put them on the outside. Also, I noticed that I'm actually, when I was putting this on, I was putting it on as if it was the right-hand side of the layout. So we're just going to do the right-hand side of the layout first. All right. So this is going to, this whole workshop has been strange, I know. So we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it, okay? So let's get these 2 mats on. Now they're a little bit longer than 4x6, which is okay. That's all right. You can still put a 4x6 photo on. So let me get my little 4x6s, because you're gonna decorate all around them anyway. So one option here is to put it on like this, or you could move it down a little bit, or you can cut it off and make it a 6 1/4 inch long mat there. I think I'm gonna I kind of like that look, so I think I'm gonna go with that. And so that you just make your decision on that, however you want to do that, because it's going to be decorated quite a bit over on this side anyway, and it's all up to you. And then we'll change. You know what? We are going to add these little excuse me. We're going to add these little pieces, tabs and stuff, which will also take up some of this space. So I think we're going to be good if you just leave it at the, what is that, like 6 1/2, 6 3/4 size right there. So let's go ahead. Now we're working on the right hand page. So which doesn't matter, because everything is exactly as I've shown you so far, except we're not going to put on that second mat, which just seems silly, and I'm not quite sure why she did it, but I didn't ask her because I didn't want to be insulting or anything. When we have flip-flaps, I didn't quite understand why she would want to do something that was what we used to do to before we had flip flaps, you know. So, you know, I think she was just trying to show off a different type of technique there, but it's just not going to work, I don't think, for us. Now, you still can go ahead and put it on if you want to, and then you just put your photo placeholders on, and then it just flips up. But then you're going to have to cut your page protector because it's not going to work otherwise. Okay? So let's just go with the old-fashioned way here, and we'll just use flip-flops, which are so much better. All right, I'm going to put this on the left-hand side, and it looks like, oh, maybe half an inch in. So this has been an adventure, hasn't it, you guys? It always is an adventure with Jennifer's layouts. It always is, but this one in particular has been interesting. I think the only one, I'm going to move this about a half inch down from the zip strip too, because we want to stick that sticker in there. So about a half an inch. The only one worse than this to me was, and I'm going to put this a half an inch away, was she did cutting instructions for an entire school career for little kids, doing 2 pages for every grade plus a page for graduation. And all of the little embellishments on it were Cricut cuts, and they were all teeny tiny type of things that you would have just the smallest little pieces. And that was the absolute worst one I ever had to do. That was hers, but it also was the one that was the most amazing in the end. So go to your stickers. We're gonna grab this one, turn it upside down. That's the lighter blue, and put that at the top of the mat. I'm not gonna overlap it on my, I think she did bring this down a touch because she had that folded piece, but I'm just gonna put it just above the photo so I don't have to worry about that. If you have your photo already down, you can put it towards a little bit more on the photo. And then we're gonna do the darker blue or the gray, whatever that is. Right here. And then let's go ahead and do those tabs down here, which I think is gonna fill that space nicely and make those look good. So you could pull those photos down if you want to, a little bit lower. So layout 2 right here, these 2 tabs. And she probably had the tabs to help lift up the that photo thing, but really, we don't need that. We have flip-flaps. So I'm just gonna put this at the bottom here, and that'll fill up that space a little bit, and one over on the other side. I just kind of like that look anyway. All right, now we just have to do some decorating on the right-hand side, so let me move this over slightly. What is my, oh yeah, we still are gonna, let's put this on the big paper. Yeah, there it is, it's hiding. I forgot that it's still quite small there, because we were doing the decorating first. So this is gonna go on this one. And then she said all the way to the left. Now remember, we're gonna have more space than it shows in the photos because we've turned this because her sizes were wrong. If you don't like that look, put it in the middle. Also, that's very busy on that side. Which side did she use? Did she use this side? No, she used that side. That's very busy. This looks busier, so I'm gonna go with this side. And I am just gonna go right over to the side and let all this prettiness be over here. That's fine because we're gonna be throwing some decorations over there anyway, but that is busy paper. So in general, I would cover more of it. So this whole white piece I think could have been bigger to cover more of that, because that is super busy. All right, this one's getting low on adhesive too. And then just like, it's about 1/4, maybe 3/8 of an inch from the top and the bottom. And let's do some decorating over here on the right-hand side. Now we don't have as much space because we turned the paper. That's okay. And also I'm gonna need some more dots over here because we turned the paper. So, let me grab my sponge. Again, we're still in an adventure here. All right, just like that. And all right, let's work from the bottom up. We've got, I'm gonna magnify this a little bit so I can see it better. And I think that the big cup of flowers is first, and that's quite enormous right here. Make sure you take out the insert on the cup handle there. And that lays down flat. And we got some room here, so let's cover up some of that busy paper. And I'm gonna lay that down flat. And then to the left of it, we've got this piece, the droopy flowers, and then the more perky flowers, yellow, and then we've got this piece here, the green. So green goes down first, and that's just, we're gonna put a butterfly over here. So move that about an inch, inch and a half away from the cup, and keep it right on the zip strip area there. Well, they're not exactly zip strips, but something similar there. And then the droopy flowers can overlap a little bit onto the cup of flowers. And I'm not gonna have it touch my tab there. And I'm wondering if my tab if that's a good spot for it. If your tab looks awkward there, you can move it over. But I think everything's gonna be kind of down here, so I don't think we have to worry. And then right over the leaves, do the other flower, just kind of laying sideways like that. And then the big butterfly. Let me grab that. And that's from your chipboard. And layout 2, that's this one up here at the upper left. And we're gonna pop that up over everything so that the stems don't really show. And a couple on the bottom. All right. Just like that. And we can just pop that up over all those stems. Oh my goodness. Okay. Kind of like this. And I got a little too much stem there, so I'm gonna cut part of that off. Because I don't want them to be sticking out there. Kind of like that. That looks good. Oh, but what did I forget to do? Distress the edges a little bit. Not too late. Okay. Now, upper right of here is 2 butterflies. I want to keep them more on the white paper because I want them to stand out. And that is this butterfly and this butterfly up here at the top. And let's do a little distressing on them. Make them pop out. Just around the outside edges will work. And we're gonna wanna pop these up, of course, with some little pop dots. And got a big bunch of them here. Very pretty, very French looking. So when I was in Las Vegas a couple years back when I broke my foot, we were visiting the Paris. I don't know if you've been to that hotel, but it's very pretty. And, you know, I was really liking the French look about it. And so when I went to France, I wanted to kind of think, was that very accurate? Was that hotel very accurate, the way that they decorated and stuff? And it really was. Everything in France seems so old till you get to Paris. But even Paris has and an oldness about it. So faded everything, like this paper is, very accurate to what France is, at least in my opinion. Okay, so put those little butterflies on, and that page is done. Now, my other page is kind of a mess here because we, since we've switched pages here, I want to make sure I've got all my little parts. All right. Okay, so we're going to turn this now. Let me look at where the dots are supposed to be on this one. They're over to the left-hand side, so let's do that. And then I think we'll just start up at the top with the thinner. Now remember, this is going to be too long because all of the cuts were inaccurate. Some were right, some were wrong. This really would be on the long side instead, but because of everything else that she cut wrong, it doesn't quite work. So we're going the shorter side is the horizontal side this time. Again. So it should be narrower this way than this way. Let's cut that off. I mean, we're just going to make some changes, but nothing that's going to ruin your layout. All of it's still going to look just fine. Under that is the glitter paper. Make sure that's the right length there. Okay. I recommend that you use glue on that. Did you write down what kind of glue you used yet? Because I've been noticing in all these videos that I've watched that people are using a lot of different types of glue. All right, put that up. And then the next is the zip strip, like that. And this is gonna be too long, so we'll just trim off, I think, or now I can't remember. I'm so mixed up from this project. Okay, this one's gonna be a little long. All right, so we're just gonna trim that. So on the other page it was the right side and it was too short, and on this one it's not, and who knows. I probably brought in another one, that's why, because I was worried. Yep, so here's the one that actually fits. So, okay. Now, while we're here at the upper side, let's put that piece that you did your distressing on. Let me check my camera's working. Yep. Let's get that down. And that goes about 1/4 inch from the side. And then over that, got a little glue there. Okay. Over that is going to be the new piece that you cut in case you hadn't cut it earlier. Let me find that. Things have just floated all over the place now. There we go. That piece. And then you're gonna need the little blue viney piece. So this goes all the way over so that it's flush with the right-hand side. And then the viney piece. And that goes overlapping both of those, I guess. Well, one overlapped the other, I suppose. All right, so this is supposed to overlap. Let me pull that up just slightly. If yours doesn't pull up, it's no big deal. Just overlap the blue on top of the other. Okay. We never want to stress out about those things. Then over here is our mat. Now we want our mat in the same place as before on the other page, which I believe I said was 1/2 inch from the side. And then I just want to make sure, because I know I kind of estimated this one. It is, yep, 1/2 inch from the bottom of the zip strip. So I'm going to turn this, go with 1/2 inch here. And make sure you're on the same side of the paper too. Don't use the light side, it's the dark. Jennifer almost always sticks to the darker sides. 1/2 inch down. That, get your photo placeholder. Yeah, I knew that one was gonna go pretty quick. Okay. And I'm putting that up towards the top again. And oop. You guys, I messed up. I forgot. We gotta put down the other parts. Shoot. If it isn't Jennifer, it's me. All right, I'm gonna take that up. Pull it up if you can, or use your undo. Sorry about that. Hopefully you just stayed behind me again. All right, let me see. That was, looks like, what was it, from the bottom? Yeah, it's gonna be about 1 inch. No, 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. Sorry. Okay, 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and this time we're going to the right-hand side. Or how did she have that on? She has that long on both sides. Not really. So this one is not cut quite right either. So let's just move it over. Did we trim it off before? We might have. I don't think so though. This mine's extra long, so I'm gonna move it over at least a good inch from the side, and then we'll just trim off the edge. Like this. And then we've got the zip strip. This time we're gonna just cut off. You can go right along one of those lines. So that's like that. And that's going to go down, and we want to put it towards the end of this piece. Now, I think we put it below it. Let me check. How did I do that? I want to make sure that I've got it, that it looks good on both sides. Let me see where that is. Yeah, I think we went over it with the other thing. So I think that was about 5/8 of an inch up from the bottom. Is that right? Let me look again. No, yeah, 5/8. 5/8 of an inch. It looks like. Let me check here. And did we overlap? We did not overlap on there. Let me see if it matches this part. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. So it's not 5/8 of an inch up. It is exactly under the pink. So that goes towards, let that point hang out a little bit. And then trim it flush. And then we have a little skinny strip here, and we're also going to just cut it at a slant down at the bottom. And this one will overlap onto that, but just slightly. So we're gonna bring it in a little bit so that there's only about 1/8 of an inch down at the bottom of white showing. So let me get my glue. And bring it in a little bit so that it's not all the way to the other point. And then about 1/8 of an inch, let it overlap. And just want to make sure that I keep it down at about 1/8. Pretty close there. Okay. Get close and trim that off. Now we can put that whole piece on the background. And we're gonna go to the right-hand side, and then we'll go ahead and put that mat on that I put on too early. And remember, we're gonna do, that's about 3/8 of an inch from the top and from the bottom, all the way flush with the right-hand side. Make sure it's even. Okay, now we can put that mat back on. And that was what did I say? That was an inch, a half an inch from the side and half an inch down from the zip strip. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half an inch down. Like this. Okay, and we'll find that sticker, the next sticker here, right there. And yes, you're gonna have some extra mats because remember, we're not putting them on the front. You can put them on if you want to, you can go ahead and put those on a flip flap. I will not be demonstrating that. You guys probably know the flip flaps by now. Okay, up at the upper left are the butterflies. Really, is that the really big butterfly, or did that go on the other page? No, I think this is the right one. And the other butterfly, which would be, I think, the only butterfly left on these. Yeah, looks like it. Let's distress the edges a bit. I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. That I make a couple of mistakes, so pay attention. Go slow and go a beat after me. All right. Up here at the top, we'll get the foam tape on the big butterfly. And pop both of these up, I think. All right. These butterflies are gorgeous. Okay. This is just gonna tilt over that blue viney paper. And then we'll do that title in the middle. That's gonna look pretty. So at the very least, if this has been a confusing set of videos, at least at the end, you're gonna have very pretty layouts. I just think hers look even more French and distressed and delicate and than the ones from Close to My Heart, which seem a little more modern to me. These ones, though, look really old-timey. Okay, and this will be turning the other way. Okay, now let's do that title here, which might as well start with the title itself. So you can put your ruler down to help you line these up. I'm going to say, your paper might look a little different, but I'm gonna go with about, and I think I might even go to maybe an inch above the pink. And I'm just gonna leave my ruler down there. It's sometimes good to start with the middle letter so that you can kind of estimate better on each side. So I'm gonna put the middle one down, and then I kind of work the other letters around that. And so I'm gonna put the bottom piece of the M right along the ruler, like that. And then I'll just do the E. And I want to leave a little room for the bracket. So kind of figure out where you're going to put that M so that you have room for all the letters and the bracket. So you might want to move a little to the left there. I've got mine a good 3 inches. The M starts a good 3 inches from the photo. One's up a little lower than I wanted to go, but that's fine. And now, let's see if I can pull that off and lift it just a touch. I'm gonna lay the bottom down first. That's probably the better way to go. Okay. And then the I. The I is tall. So even if you put it down at the level of the ruler, it is a tall letter. And then the T, which doesn't want to come off the sticker very well. Uh-oh. Put up the other way. It is not perfectly cut there. I'm gonna be delicate. All right. And the T. And now we can remove our ruler. And they're fairly straight. And the next one is the word good, which is over here. And I'm not going to pop it up because there's just not enough room there to me for pop dots. And then we need the brackets. And they're right here on this chipboard. And let's do a little distressing. You can see how all of these papers distressed would have looked awesome, like she does them on hers. So that's always your option, to distress every single piece, every single sticker. All right, I'm gonna glue these. And then just bracket that up. Very pretty. And over here. I'm trying to make them even. Matchy, matchy. Fairly good there. They're not exactly the same size, so that's not gonna be perfect on there. Okay, now let's work on this typewriter. Now this is taking a lot of flowers, so let's get all these flowers kind of laid out. And I'm going to magnify this so I can really get a good look. All right. Looks like the first flower down is going to be either your coral, or if you did purple like I did, that's going to go down first. And that goes over close to the mat, even overlapping, kind of, well, down towards the bottom. Not overlapping yet, but the things above it will be overlapping. So take it all the way over to where your mat is and go down. And then it's kind of where the end of the white paper is. And then above that is the little gray piece, and then we'll put the leaves over those two. So that goes just above and pretty close to your mat. On the paper, it's over the mat, but remember our paper's turned a different way. So I'm gonna just go over the bottom of the green on the mat. And then this piece is gonna kind of hang over the purple flowers, or the coral, depending on which color you colored it. Kind of in the middle of them, okay? And then we'll have our typewriter. Now over here, we want to do the other flowers. Now, remember that you're going to have a typewriter in here. So you could, if you want to see how this goes, you could actually cut the typewriter instead of pulling it off so that all the paper's on it and it's not sticky yet. Let's just kind of lay that down so you see about where it's gonna go, which is sort of about there. And then just, that helps us estimate where these flowers go. So let's go with this gray flower next, and that pops up quite a bit here up on, just under the letter I. Well, it doesn't really matter because it depends on where you put your I, but just under the word times. And then down here at the bottom, let's do this next. I'm trying to do them in the right order that she had. Down at the bottom under the typewriter is the green leaves are gonna kind of lay sideways. And you've got these yellow ones. They are gonna go over a sticker. So we need to grab the sticker first. And it's this one right here. I'm looking to see if there's any other flowers. I think that's it. So again, under the typewriter here, we're gonna put that sticker kind of in between the flowers and the leaves. And then the flowers, the last little flowers here. We'll go over that. Kind of just layering it in there. Okay, now you can go ahead and let's pop this typewriter up. Make sure all your stems are kind of covered. Not that there's anything wrong with seeing the stems, but that's kind of the look that we're going for, is mostly the flowers, the leaves. And that's a pretty old-fashioned typewriter. I remember typewriters. I know there's people that are fans of old-timey typewriters, like Tom Hanks, I believe, is a big fan and buys a lot. All right. And then we're gonna need one little butterfly. So just lay that over the stems. Let me get a drink. My throat's always like this in the morning. Especially this time of year with all the allergies. All right, little butterfly over here. And one tiny pop dot will probably do for that. Let me see, do I have some left? So I'm actually gonna put the pop dot down here on the paper and stick the butterfly over it. Oh, what did we forget to do? What did I forget to do? Distress. I'm gonna have a big disclaimer that says, go one step behind me so that you don't make the mistakes I did. All right. I think we're good. I don't think I'm missing anything there. Got the butterflies, we got the title, we got, oh, tab. And I wanna make sure that matches the other side. And I don't think I distressed those other two, so I won't distress this one. And I wanna make sure the right size. Okay, those are the big ones at the top. So if it's not too late, you could distress these, but I forgot to. So right there like that. Let's pull these up, despite the ordeal. They do look very pretty. Look at that. I mean, really pretty. So nice. Okay, let's see if layout 3 will go easier.